So I'm Rodney Reynolds, and this is the first live show that I have done in quite a while, and I might be turning these into podcasts as well because now YouTube has or will be having podcasts, which is quite something. So that's something else that maybe you can look forward to, and maybe myself as well, something else to another hobby of mine to because this is what I'm doing this stuff for now. It's more of just some stuff that I like to do and stuff that I like to post and stuff that interests me and whatnot. And this is what these podcasts they'll be about everything, I think. But I'm going to focus for now on the polls that I do, and these are very interesting, I find anyway. And the comments are also interesting, and the results as well are very interesting. So there is that, and that's some content for sure that I can go over in this live broadcast. And I don't know how many are here this morning because it is Saturday morning, but yeah. So let's maybe wait a little while for people to show up here. All right, so let me first of all go through the little setup that I have here. I've got 3 ring lights and I've got a ceiling light as well here. And this is, I think it works overall pretty well. And I've got a Sony digital camera as well, plugged into an HDMI, into a capture card, into my system. So this is a little better than a webcam, I think. And certainly it's a little better setup than I had in the past. Yeah, so this will be my setup for now. I'm possibly thinking about maybe getting a better camera for this, and for I love photography. As I would consider myself an amateur photographer of sorts. Something that I've been doing for a very long time. Usually when I shoot outside, I usually put it always in manual. All right, and I'm using OBS Studio as well to do this. So. And by the way, the image that you see up top here of my channel, that's created with AI. AI is making, there's going to make some people's lives, I think, extremely difficult because I think a lot of lower paid white collar jobs will be lost, but it's going to make, I think, a lot of people's lives a lot easier depending upon your job, because if you're an essential worker, I think you're safe. Otherwise, I think AI is going to start replacing a lot of people. I mean, you think about customer service, for example, right? You think about low-level clerks, low-level maybe paralegals, low-level anything white collar could be replaced by an AI bot of sorts. Anyway, I digress. But that's that. I hope I made that fairly clear. I don't. Yeah. Okay. So let's just go on here and continue on. And as people show up, they show up. So I'm just going to go through some of these polls that I got here, and I'll probably spend around 30 minutes here and see how this goes. And I'll do this a few times, and probably Saturday mornings. I think that will be the best overall. Saturday mornings seem to work a bit better for me. I find myself Friday evenings. It's it's the end of the week, end of the day, so you're a little tired, right? So I'd rather just chill and relax. And by the way, I don't know what you did yesterday in St. Patrick's Day or St. Patty's Day, but I guess a lot of people were drunk, and maybe this morning everyone's hungover. I don't know. So maybe why the hell are you waking up here right for this live show? In any case, let's go through some of these polls. These polls, I think, will turn out to be very interesting. So the first one here: how do you feel about the portrayal of gender and sexuality in video games? Now, this is something that I am not going to tackle first thing in the AM on a Saturday morning, to be honest. But however, most people here don't care. They don't care about gender or sexuality in games. And keep in mind that this channel is mostly full of gamers, right? So, you always have to bear that in mind when you're looking at these polls. Obviously, not that it's biased in some respects, but I mean, it is a gaming community for the most part. People like myself, I'm a gamer, but I'm other things as well. I mean, I love the outdoors. I love reading. I love a lot of things. I love. I have a great gamut, really, of things that I'm interested in. So, but I definitely am a gamer. I mean, hardcore, right? For many, many, many years. But yeah, so myself personally, I don't really care, about gender or about sexuality. I do have some issues when it comes to the whole gender thing, biologically. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that in this particular show. That's your thing. You do what you want to do. We're all adults, right? I just don't like it when it's brought into kindergarten and schools. I don't like it when it's forced upon people that don't, want it really, and they're not interested in it. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't care. Do what you want, but I find that it's becoming almost like we're being pushed. It's being pushed on everyone in every facet of life, and some people are totally against it. Some people are in the middle, and some people, well, they're all for it, right? But the majority of people here, I'm actually a little bit surprised with this poll, to be honest, because I figured, maybe that people would be not so. I mean, sexuality in games, that's something that's always really been there. Gender is something that's coming up. I mean, gender. I'm watching a Star Trek series now, Discovery, and there's gender things also entering there. So gender is entering in every avenue of life. So that's just something. It's just a change. That's it. And it's something that has come up, and it's been around for actually many years, and now it's coming really to the forefront. So that's that. Looks like most people don't care. It's important. A lot of people, some people think it's important, and some people don't really care either way. So yeah, let's just go in here and see what this guy says. I don't think it should matter nearly as much as some people are trying to make it out to be. Well, it would seem that the majority of people, if they're telling the truth, and that's something you have to consider here as well, because a lot of people don't want to be forthright about this stuff, right? So yeah, they don't care. So that's that poll. How important is the length of a video game to you? Short and sweet, long, or epic? Who's going to say short? Hardly anybody, right? Long, and somewhere in the middle. It depends for me on the game, and I think a lot of replies here would seem to indicate that. But 50 to 100 hours for a game is not unreasonable, and certainly not unheard of these days. And I think a lot of times you need to spend probably 10 hours in the game just to really get a feel for the game and figure out, the systems within the game and how to, in some respects, not master it, but in some respects, just to get in that groove, right? And that's what I find anyway. I mean, when I started gaming a very, very long time ago, I mean, my God, it was in the 80s when I started playing a lot of games on Commodore 64s, but I mean, that was totally different back then. But after that, a lot of the games, they were 10, 20-hour games. But now, there was a time there when games were like 5 hours, and then they went to 50 hours, 100 hours. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed, for example, and a lot of other games like that. Watch Dogs, another great series of games. Mad Max. And by the way, if you haven't played Mad Max and you like open world, play the game. That is honestly, in my opinion, another masterpiece that a lot of people have completely missed, and it's cheap. It's really cheap. You can spend 50 to 100, 200 hours in that game, no problem whatsoever. But games have gone from 5 hours or a few hours all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of hours. I mean, I've spent hundreds of hours in Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I do a lot of videos on it as well. So it's kind of like a game, but it's like a hobby. And, yeah, it's good, right? But, yeah, I mean, I would prefer a game. Generally speaking, I would prefer a game that is in the middle. It's not too long. It's not too short. So let's go to the next one here. How do you feel about the use of historical events and themes in game? Now, I think personally myself, I think this is important, right? And I think the majority of people here agree. Because there's a reference. There is, even if it's not an accurate historical reference, it's maybe quasi accurate, or it's a fictional history, but it's still a history. It's still kind of, and it's still kind of, frames the game, and I think it makes the game feel like it's a lot more authentic. At least, that's kind of my take on it anyway. And the majority of people here agree. How important is community feedback and involvement in the development of a video game to you? Now, I think I agree here with this poll. This is, and the majority of people, this is very important, I think. And this is why they have, beta testers and alpha testers, and you can go in and play a game before it's released. Because some games, they're not released officially for many years after there's like a beta release or something. Sometimes it takes 2 years. I don't like beta testing or alpha testing or going in early access, because it spoils it for me, really. I mean, I'm on the opposite side actually of this. I'm on the opposite side where I want to play a game a year or two after it's released. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times games, when they come out first, they're full of bugs. They crash. There's all kinds of glitches. Things don't really work properly. Maybe 6 months to a year afterwards, they're polished. I'm playing games now, because I took a break from all of this for a few years, that were released in 2016, 2017, 2018, and they have so many patches. I mean, Cyberpunk, for example, right, released a few years back, and I played through it, but I was kind of reluctant to do so. But I like the game, actually. I like that game. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 for sure. But I'm waiting for patch 1.7 to be released, and I don't think that's released yet. So there's an example, right, where I won't do a playthrough unless there's another patch, and that patch is supposed to prove to be, exceptional. And that patch, I think if you're waiting to play Cyberpunk, wait for a little while. Maybe if you can get it on special, get it on special. I've bought games, and I've sat on them, literally, until I feel like it would seem that the community will say that, it's not good yet, wait for the next patch. And this is the good thing about a community. You can get involved in it, and you can figure things out. You can ask questions and get answers and all the rest of it. So that's definitely a good thing. So this is about mental health and about gaming, and this is also a very touchy subject in my opinion. Oh, someone just joined chat here. Huh. These days, it feels like the people who buy the game are the beta testers. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. See, this is what's good about chat, because you guys can get in here and ask these questions that don't pop into my head, and then it spins some wheels inside of my head, and then I can start talking about it. So you're right about that. You are very right about that, because, and this is why I wait. This is exactly why I wait. Now, I mean, waiting 4 years for a game, that's just ridiculous. But, since I took the break, it didn't really matter. And then I actually, there were so many games that I wanted to play after I took a little hiatus there and did all my, outdoorsy stuff and all the other stuff that I did, which was amazing. And I still do all that stuff. But, yeah, I mean, they were so far in the past that they were patched. Now, as a matter of fact, they're still being patched. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, that was released many, many years ago. Still a bloody masterpiece of a game. I mean, I have never played a game in my life. I fell in love with that so much that I started doing, I've almost got 200 videos done on that so far. And I got probably another 200 or 300 more to do on it. That's how much I love it. I literally I still love it. I 300 or 400 hours into that game. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I absolutely adore the game in every, like, the whole concept of the game, the history of the game, the characters in the game, where the game progresses, the visuals, the mechanics of the game. I don't know. Just get excited here even talking about it. But yeah, so they've released patches for that game, like they do for a lot of games, and they're still releasing. Now, I had a question from a person the other day about do you play Red Dead Redemption 2 online? I haven't, because, well, between all the other things that I'm doing and playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I also started playing Doom 2016 again as well. But, everyone only has so much time, right? So you have to kind of spend time where you need to spend time. So everything works in your life, right? So, yep. This person says, you made me work in IT. Well, that's great. I mean, this was my whole purpose, honestly, of starting this channel and doing what I was doing. This is it. This was my sole intention. My sole intention when I started in 2000, the year 2000, 5 years before YouTube started. This is my only thing, just to convey my interest of computers and gaming to you guys and try to somehow get it out there in the world. And that was something that was extremely difficult at the time. Very difficult. A whole different world now. You get a phone, get a camera, a few lights, whatever. You set yourself up. Bam, you're online. It takes you maybe a few hours. That's it. Easy beyond belief. It wasn't like that back then. But that was my whole reason, just to trying to get other people excited about all of this. That was it. Then I started doing reviews. And, and when I started first, not everyone back then in the year 2000, I wasn't anyway, was very comfortable with getting on camera and doing all that kind of stuff. But, I had to work my way up with that as well, because you look at some of the earlier videos that I did, my God, it's totally embarrassing, but, it is what it is, right? So, yeah, and people view you differently, obviously, than you view yourself, right? So, but yeah, that's good. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad that people make comments about that, because it's something that really, it's good. I feel that. It's good. So thanks for that. I think it is too. I mean, I've played a hell of a lot of games throughout the years, and I think it is one of the very, very best. If you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, and a lot of people still haven't, I think it's one of the best-selling games of all time. But yeah. All right, so let's continue here with the poll. I don't know if did I talk about mental health. So mental health and gaming, I think games can cause mental health problems. I think they can cause all kinds of problems. However, it's about it's about moderation, right? I mean, if you played golf all the time, you'd maybe affect your arms, and you'd affect your family life. You'd be doing that all the time. You'd never be around. So, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. That's probably a poor example, but you get what I'm saying. It's all about moderation. Don't spend 12 hours a day gaming. Really don't. Don't do that. Spend time with your friends, maybe your family if you have a family situation. It's fine. Go to work, come home, game for a few hours, do a few other things, housework, whatever else. Make your bed. I'm referencing Gordon Peterson now, but yeah. So there's other things you can do besides game, and I really hate the fact. That people generally view gaming as such a negative thing. I really do, because as soon as you bring up, you're a gamer, right away they're judging you somehow, right? And I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not really sure, but it's still there. Probably not so much if you're younger. Probably not. But I can tell you though. I mean, you know, I think it still is. I really do, because I do talk to young people, and certain people say, well, he's gaming all the time, and I can never get him away from the computer and all the rest of it. However, you do know where he is, and you know, that's one thing. Would you rather for him to be gaming, or would you rather for him to be out and about doing God knows what, and he's not there? So but mental health and gaming, for me at least, you know, it's a reprieve for me. It takes me away. It's something that I look forward to, and I don't know how I would. It really it transforms. I don't know. It transforms my day in some respects, because I can go into a fantasy land for a few hours, and that's important. Don't get lost there. Don't get lost there. But it does take you away. Just like a book, reading a book or listening to an audiobook or a podcast or whatever will take you away, right? And if you enjoy it and you're not hurting anybody, then that's a good thing. So the results here, positive. That's good. Now, see, look at this. So you got a lot of people thinking it's positive, but there's a lot of people say it depends, and I agree, it depends on the game. If you're playing Doom 2016, which I'm playing right now, that's very stressful. I mean, it is, and not so stressful. I don't find it so stressful myself, because I've played so many of those crazy games over the years. It doesn't really stress me out. Now I go into those games and I try to find all of the secrets and all that kind of stuff. So now it's not about really, the gore is kind of fascinating in a way, right? I mean, Sniper Elite, for example. I mean, the headshots and all that kind of stuff is absolute gore. But in some respects, it's kind of like part of, I don't know, just part of gaming, really. Look at movies and TV shows, for example. I mean, that stuff is in all that stuff. But I think it can affect you if you're playing those games. And I know Grand Theft Auto gets a bad name and a bad rap, but, again, you have to kind of, weigh it. I mean, how true is a game like Grand Theft Auto to the real life? It's not, obviously, but bad things happen in real life and good things happen in real life. So games kind of emulate that. I get it. Games are, ultra violent in some cases, but in other cases they aren't. I mean, again, I'll use Red Dead Redemption 2 as an example. Yes, for sure, can be really crazy in there, but it can also be very calming and very peaceful, and you can relax and stuff in the game. So for me, playing Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like therapy, literally. This is another one. This is another one that got a lot of controversy about. Do you think games, do you think video games are a form of art? Now, personally, myself, I think they are, because you have. It's a different form of art. It's not a picture. It's not a sculpture. It's not, whatever art you think typically art is. It's someone initially having a vision. And usually it's one or two people, right? And a producer, director, or whatever. And then you get people involved, artists. Right? And then you put a game together. And then you play this. It's like playing a canvas. In my opinion, it is. And most people agree. And this poll got a lot of votes, actually. And most people agree. Other people, nah. And other people say, absolutely not. A game is not art. And again, we're a gaming community here, right? So you're going to vote yes. So this is a bit biased. I understand that. So take all these polls and the results with a grain of salt. All right, so let's go to Chad here. The lighting in the back. Yeah. Back here, you mean? Yeah. So let me give you a little bit of a story behind that. That light, you see it there? That light was a light that I was given by a friend of mine many, many years ago. And he used to sell them back then for, I think, $200 or $300. But I think I did some computer work for him, and he offered me the light. He wasn't maybe that well off, and I said no problem. And I've had the light ever since, and it's been on pretty much every single day. Oh man, 20 years probably. I've probably had this light for 20 years. But you know, there's I think there's a halogen bulb inside, and he has a pattern out of cotton metal that portrays this image of light. So he was way, way ahead of his time, wasn't he? Because this stuff is big. I thought about getting some purple LED lights and green LED lights for the backdrop. That seems to be a big thing these days, and I still might do that, but that's kind of neat. Yeah, well, thank you for noticing that. There's another person here saying that the Red Dead Redemption 2 game is a masterpiece. Yeah, I mean, you're right about gaming being a healthier addiction. I mean, because in some cases it definitely is an addiction. When you start playing it 5-10 hours a day, and but it could be, it could be much worse. You could have much worse. Many. There are many worse addictions out there besides gaming. Hello. Someone says hi. Yeah, I think they have. I mean, they have elevated storytelling because it really puts you in the story. Now, some games do this better than others, and maybe a lot of them don't. But a few games that I played, Watch Dogs, for example, was one of those. Certainly Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed series, Mad Max was another one that I really liked as well. That's completely overlooked. And I'll be mentioning these games over and over and over, probably in every other live show or podcast or whatever you want to call this, because they're just brilliant games, and they're games that you can go back and play many, many times over and over. But they tell a story. I mean, Mad Max, I don't know about you guys, but Mad Max is something. The first and second Mad Max just got me hooked. I mean, they were exceptional movies, just unbelievable. And I saw the reviews on Mad Max, an open world game, and they weren't great, but I decided to play it. Thank God I did, because it's a great game. Hello, Dragon Lord. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Person there said, my mom used to tell me to stop the addictive gaming as she drank her sixth glass of wine that night. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the irony, isn't it? That's the irony behind a lot of it, and that's kind of what I've seen as well throughout my life, is that someone will tell you something, and you know what that is, right? There's a word for that. It's being hypocritical, right? Hypocrites. And we're all hypocrites, me included, right? You sometimes might say something to someone, and you go, wait a second, but I do this. So, but yeah, it's, why are you gaming all the time? Gaming is useless. Gaming is going to make you. Okay, so this is what I throw back at people when they say that. And by the way, I don't go out there advertising to the world that I'm a gamer. I just don't do it. I'm not ashamed of it, but I just don't do it, because people, if you say, yeah, man, I've been hiking all weekend and I went to the, I went to the Alps and I was skiing and then I went on a vacation. I did it in 4 days. That's all interesting and wonderful. But if you say that you've been gaming for the last 4 days, that's not. That's like you know, but it whatever, you can't convince people. You'll never convince non-gamers that games are beneficial, games are rewarding, games also are good for this thing here, the brain. Probably keeps dementia away if you're older. So maybe if you're older, you should think about getting into gaming, because the mechanics, the gaming systems these days, like I said, it takes 10 to 20 hours to even figure out what the hell is going on in games if you're not used to them, that is. If you are, of course, within an hour or so, you can figure it out. However, again, I'll use the example of Red Dead Redemption 2. There's people that have been playing that game for 100, 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 hours, and I get these responses. I didn't even know this existed. Didn't even know this side mission existed. Didn't even know you could do this. So, it's good. I think gaming is good. Anyway, I went on a little too long about the gaming, but this is a gaming channel. Most people here are going to agree with me anyway. There's no one that is knitting every single day or golfing every day is watching me here or listening to me. But if you are, great, wonderful. So this person hasn't, Digital Man Dave has not gotten around to playing Red Dead Redemption 2 yet. Oh, I've played the first one, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. No, I stopped playing it actually. I might go back and try it again, but it's different. It's more of an arcade thing, I thought, but I probably will go back and play it. It's like when you get hooked, right? You get into this game, Red Dead Redemption 2, or I have, and you get hooked. I was playing Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm almost finished that game, but I've given up on the game. I found it like so repetitive and the same silly jokes and all the rest of it. It's a great game, by the way. That game's also a wonderful game. The visuals are just stunning in that game. But I kind of gave up and abandoned that game and abandoned another game called Cities Skylines, which is another really amazing game, completely different though than Red Dead Redemption 2 or Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, it's that's what I find that I do. I guess because time is limited, right? You get involved in a game you really like and you keep playing it and playing it and playing it until you don't want to play it anymore. But play the game, man. If you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2 yet, it's like playing a movie. Oh, the first one, you got bored too? Yeah, I got bored. There's no substance to it. That's what I kind of thought. However, like I said, you look at Red Dead Redemption 2, the second one, and it's a whole different thing. What would be amazing? If I'm playing Doom 2016 right now, and I'm playing through that again. I played it so long ago that, can't really, I remember some things, but it would be neat if they would make a third-person open-world Doom game. No? And reframe it somehow. Which one was it? Doom 3? I think it was Doom 3 that I thought was it was the best Doom ever released, because I don't know, I felt there was more of a story behind it. It was more contextual. It was somehow, I don't know, Doom 2016 is great. But it's more about just blasting through aliens and just going to the next mission. And it's not really about the story. It's not really about the atmosphere. It's just about fast-paced, craziness all the time. Now you can upgrade your weapons and all this stuff, but it's a shooter. Yes, but Doom 3 was I thought, a little bit more It had some more substance to it. Anyway, let's go on to the next poll here. And I'll probably spend a little bit longer on here. Maybe, how long have I been on here now? I've been on here, 40 minutes. And I am a little tired this morning, so my eyes look probably tired, but I think Saturday mornings are probably the best for this. Probably not the best for you guys, but I don't know how many people are up on Saturday mornings, but anyway. So let's go to the next poll here. What is your preferred platform for accessing news and reviews? Social media, gaming websites, YouTube, podcasts, other. Podcasts. Now, this is something that's going to become more and more popular here on YouTube. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but YouTube just released. It just popped up into my section within Studio of YouTube podcasts. So I'm going to probably push some content that I've already done here to a podcast playlist, and you can turn playlists actually that you've already done into podcasts. Of course, some of them are not podcastable because podcasts are, by the way, podcasts, you kind of think that podcasts are just audio. They're not. Podcasts are video and audio, but typically speaking, podcasts is something that I listen to all the time in my car, all the time. If I get in my car, first thing I do, connect my phone, Android Auto, bam, listen to a podcast every single time. And I have it sped up a little bit so I can consume more and more information. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm in the car and I don't listen to music so much anymore. I listen to podcasts because I want to consume information. Like it's it's great. Anyway, so the majority of people get, apparently, the people who are on here on my channel, who are, or at least voting on this poll, saying that YouTube, they get most of the preferred platform is actually YouTube. That's good. But again, probably biased because I'm posting a poll on YouTube and this is YouTube. So Half-Life, yeah, this person says Half-Life, my favorite game. Yeah, I mean, I love that. Half-Life, yeah. Yeah, the first Half-Life wasn't that good. I saw that you must have edited that post, but Half-Life 2 was, I agree with you. That was incredible, an amazing game. Half-Life, the first one was as well, but yeah, there's been some really historical games, hasn't there, over the years? And maybe I should do a video or something on that about games that I think are absolute stellar. And I mean, I don't know how many of you guys out there played Wolfenstein, but I started gaming a long time before that. But Wolfenstein was kind of the introduction to Doom and Quake and all that stuff that came along. This kind of like 2D but looked like 3D world, and it was just wow. And then Doom came out, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then 3D effects with the Voodoo series came out, the graphics cards, which were like $600 a pop, and you had to get them because they were so riveting. And that's the stuff that really sucked me into doing all of this, to be honest. Beside the fact that I love games, love computers. So, but if you love games and you need a computer, so you need to build a computer. Back then you did anyway. And, but yeah, that's kind of what threw me into all of this. Okay, next poll is what is your preferred time of day to play video games? For me, it's usually in the evenings. I'm with everyone else here. If you have a different schedule, then it could be any time, really. But for me, it's generally evenings, but really, any time. If I feel like playing, I play. If I don't, I don't. Sometimes I go days. Sometimes without gaming. Literally, I take a break from it. Just feel like I had enough and I don't want to game anymore. All right. Let's continue going down through these polls here. And by the way, I do a poll every single day. And some people appreciate that. Some people don't. Some people are saying that I'm spamming the channel. I post one poll and maybe one video, two videos, three videos a day. Usually it's just one or two videos per day. You're getting 3 posts from me every single day. You know, it's up to you if you want to stay subscribed and all that stuff. But I've subscribed to some other channels and I get 10, 20 different posts from those channels all of the time. I'm getting messages now, for example, that, you know, are from the feeds and stuff that keep me informed. So yeah, I think the polls are interesting. I think other people find them interesting as well. How do you feel about the role of violence in video games? It's fine. And, you know, there's violence in movies. There's violence, you know, just part of humanity, I guess, you know, so. Have you ever attended a gaming event or convention? I have, but I haven't attended many of them. See, the majority of people are no. Yeah, it makes sense. I'll go down to this poll here. Yeah. Who reads these? Who reads these EULAs, the end user license agreements? Really? I don't. Yeah, never. I don't really. Some people do. I mean, but oh my gosh, what are you going to do if you don't agree with them? You know, you don't download, you don't install the program. That's the choice you have. Now, I thought this was a kind of an interesting poll as well. The difference, can you see the difference between 1080p and 4K? By the way, the camera that I have right now is 4K, but it's being pushed back to 1080p. The difference between, honestly, 1080p and 4K, in gaming, probably you can notice it. But if you're watching the television, then, you know, probably not at a distance. You're not going to notice it at a distance. Close up, you will definitely. But at a distance, no, you're not. You're not going to notice it. That's me anyway. That's me. But and besides, you know, the larger resolutions that you have, the more power you're going to need, obviously, to push at that resolution. So I think there comes a point where, you know, you go 8K, but why? Unless you have like the monitor like here next to your face. You know, it's like you need to have a microscope and go, oh yeah, I see the difference. All right, so I'm gonna end it there with this particular, you know, avenue of me talking about content with regards to the polls here, and maybe get to some of your comments here. Aside from visual effects, this is Dragon Lord. Aside from visual effects, that's getting more and more realistic. Cinematics becomes an essential part of the game, and they are very well written lately. And I have to agree with you. A lot of the games are just, yeah, they definitely take you away. Do you guys remember a game called Soldier of Fortune? I thought that was another stellar game back in the day. That was more of a run and gun shooter kind of game. Because there was a time there, right? That I guess 2000 to 2000 onwards, like all first person shooter games. And right now I prefer open world, actually, third person. You know, I haven't played The Last of Us yet. Oh, to watch the TV show? No. Which network is that on? I think is it HBO? I'm not sure. I don't have I have Paramount now. I gave up on Netflix for obvious reasons. For me, it was just on principle. And if Paramount does the same thing as Netflix is doing, I'm gonna cancel that as well, because understand the fact that you can't be paying for an account and then a million other people have the same account. I get that. I get that. However, when you're paying for premium accounts and you still can't do it, and you want $8 Canadian for every single additional account, and then you have to tell the person your password to get into that account. And what about you don't access your account within a month or two because you have a TV in your cottage or something? It gets very complicated. So, I gave up on Netflix. HBO, I was right. My God. Yeah. Yeah, HBO. Yeah, I need to pay for another service. So, nah. But yeah, I hear it's really good. I hear it's really, really good. Hi, Rodney. I'm so glad to see you back on YouTube. I've been on YouTube now for a little while, actually. But yeah, thank you. The dial-up days. Oh my God. Remember those days, eh? Yep. Those were the days. Those were the days where you had to have patience. And you were taught. Really? You had no choice, right? You had to wait for everything to download, and man, it was you would start downloading something, you'd wait and come back in an hour, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is. I don't know, somehow it created more, I don't know, it seemed, when you're not working for it, but when you're waiting for something and you finally get it, you're so appreciative of it. This instant gratification, that's not, it's a good thing in some respects, but you get used to that. And if you don't get it, then, oh, like if the internet goes down or if it's slow, you're going, what's going on? Oh my gosh. I have tried VR. I don't like it per se, and I think it's something that I would not want to get into for a number of reasons. One of them being it's extremely addictive, extremely crazy. I can't even imagine some of these games being in VR, like jumping at high levels and stuff. It's got to be very scary, and scary just because you're kind of like literally like you're inside of the game. I convinced you to start playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. What do you think of it? You need to give it like 10 or 20 hours. You need to get through that first part. That first part in Red Dead Redemption 2, just for everyone out there, if you're getting into Red Dead Redemption 2 and you really don't like it at the beginning, hang on, because that was me. That was actually me. I tried it. I refunded. Then I ran on 8 months later, I tried Red Dead Redemption again, and then I kind of got into it because there were people telling me, just give it another chance, just get into it, stay into it, and go through it. And once you get through that first chapter, then it opens up, and it's just, oh my God, the story, like I said, everything about the game is brilliant. Now, I guess if you don't like cowboys and outlaws and all that stuff, maybe you wouldn't like it, but right, exactly. This is exact. Netflix is literally turning into cable TV. Right, that's exactly my thought. Exactly. So I don't want to pay for network TV. I haven't done that in a very long time, and Netflix is seemingly turning into that. I don't want that. I don't care how much content is on YouTube on Netflix. There is a lot of content on there, but what I found myself in the last couple of years watching is a lot of foreign stuff, subtitles, dubbed audio and stuff. And that's not great. It's okay, but it's not great. I'm just consuming content for the sake of consuming content. Yeah, that's the other thing with a VR, right? Your eyes. I mean, God, it's bad enough now just looking at a screen. Just reading some of the comments here. See, there you go. Yeah, 70 to 80 hours until Red Dead Redemption 2 hit me. It's crazy, right? It literally is. And I think a lot of people, there's just billions of sales on this game. A lot of people who bought the game probably started playing it and gave up on it. Or maybe they just went, right through as fast as they could to get it finished, and that was the end of it. They need to give it a chance. But that's a lot of hours to give it a chance. I understand that. Oh, and by the way, let's get rid of this screen. And you guys are aware about unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable t-shirts, right? I have those for sale. This is the one without the logo, and this is the one with the logo. Depends on which one that you want, but you can get one of those. That helps me out. You can subscribe, of course, to the channel. That also helps me out. Share, link, whatever. It all helps me, and it encourages me as well to continue doing videos and live shows / podcasts like this in the future. And like I said, now I've gotten back into this, and a lot of people are saying, well, get back into doing reviews again and all that stuff. And you know what? That world has completely changed. And there are millions of reviewers out there, and I am not about to get into that pool and swim in those waters again. I did my time. I mean, I was doing it a long time before. Well, I was the first one doing it. I was the first one that started doing video reviews back in the year 2000. I had, videos that I produced and uploaded them to a server and then linked them and then had a forum and all that stuff. And then YouTube came along and it got super easy, but then it got saturated, completely saturated. And the more money you have, the more better cameras you have, and the more ads you can pay for, those are the folks that, go right to the top, right? And it's about money again. It's not about necessarily content. It's not about the person. It's not about the channel. It's about how much money you have. And, but whatever, that's a whole different story. But yeah, the review side of it, I might get back into it. I might not. I don't know. I don't care about it right now. I did thousands of videos later. That's over with. I want to do stuff now that I like doing. But I get that question all the time. One person called me a coward because I wouldn't get back into doing video reviews. I've heard it all, man. I don't care what you call me. You can call me whatever you like. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Well, I'm not taking this channel anywhere really, aside from just keeping it on a gaming direction. That's the hope. However, that could change too. I mean, I've posted kayaking videos. I've posted videos on all kinds of topics. But it's just me. 3D Game Man is me, right? It's Rodney Reynolds. So this is me, and I'm sorry if some of you don't like it, or if you want me to get into doing reviews. So here's one of the main reasons why I'm not interested in doing reviews. Well, first of all, there's a million people doing them, and so that void has been filled. Secondly, it takes a hell of a lot of work to do it. A hell of a lot of work. You don't realize. To shoot a video on, I don't know. I don't have anything here to grab right now to show you, but to do video review on something simple. If you want to do a shotgun kind of review, then that's the ones that I might do, just like a raw shoot if I was to do it again. And all the mistakes I'd make, too bad. I'd put them in there. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment, a lot of devotion to do that. And the rewards, in all honesty, they're very low. unless your channel like blows up. And the only way your channel is going to blow up these days with all the silly algorithms and all the other nonsense, right? YouTube doesn't care how long you've been on here. It doesn't care about any of that stuff. It's about ads, and it's about ads. It's about how many ads you can pay for to get your name out there. And then when you do that, when you spend, I don't know, $10, $20, $30,000, maybe then you can make some of it back and become whatever. But that was never my intention to become rich or famous from this. This was never, ever my intention. My intention was to just get to you guys, my love for computers, and hopefully I could spread that knowledge and love for computers and gaming that I had to you guys. That's it. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but that's easier said than done. Just to focus video reviews, for example, on doing one specific product. And if it was, I don't know what I would do. I like cases. I really like reviewing cases, but nah. You know what I would like to start doing? I would honestly I would like to start doing interviews and things like that. So that's possibly an idea, but a lot of things a lot of devotion. That would also require a lot of devotion and require me to really, jump into this with 2 feet. Right. This right now for me is just a hobby. This is all this is. This is just, this is just something that I like doing. So, oh yes, I should have left the T-shirts up here. And I have other T-shirts too as well. If you want to purchase them, you could do that as well. But I had these. I mean, I actually did this. I made these. I'm not going to get rich off of this. This is not my point. My point with this was to put them up at least. So some of you, if you wanted them, you could purchase them, because there was a request for this. And after the request, I decided to create a channel, create the site on what's it called? Spreadshirt. Spreadshirt.com. I partnered with them, right, to bring the stuff to you guys. Just if you wanted one, you could pick one up. But I know they're expensive. They take a massive cut, and I take a few dollars, and but it is what it is. And I kind of did this to help, not to help, but to give you the option if you wanted to purchase the T-shirt. So, well, is there anything else? I'll spend another few minutes on here if you have any other questions. And do you think it's something that you guys would be interested in every week, me doing? Yeah, the cup's good. The stickers are also cheap as dirt. I mean, the stickers are something cheap. I don't know what you would do with a sticker. Stick it on the back of your car, your bike. I don't know. The majority of people are like, what the hell does this mean? Unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable. It's funny. There's been a lot of memes and stuff made of this. There's been, but all jokes aside, I mean, I never thought that me saying this would become what it's become. It's just weird how life happens, eh? It's just so strange how things come down. Yeah, I'm probably going to do this every single week. So, and I hope you're hearing me okay, and hope it's not too loud or whatever. I did try to adjust the latency and stuff with regards to the capture card and the camera and the microphone. But what I will probably be focusing upon is, oh, you're glad that I rescheduled it? Yeah, well, last night I was just a little too tired. I couldn't, I just wouldn't, I wouldn't be all there, all in. So, But yeah, what I will be focusing on more than likely every single week will be some of these polls, and then more and more, I guess, get more and more viewers, and then I'll be able to answer your questions, and you'll be able to then, we'll be able to have a conversation back and forth, basically. And I don't know, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can drop. Oh, wait a second. I don't have this over here. Maybe I can drop this over on this screen, but if I do that, it's probably going to be hidden underneath the chat. I'm referring to the chat box here. So what games are you guys playing right now? You know which game I'm playing right now, Red Dead Redemption 2 and Doom 2016. And also a little bit, not much anymore. I got to try and finish Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I pretty much finished that. I've been really, really, really wanting to get into The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I got into it, spent 20 hours into it. Then I heard about the release of, kind of like the remake, the newer high resolution version of it, the better textures and all that kind of stuff. And I waited and waited and waited. It came out, and well, by that time I got into Red Dead Redemption 2, and I need to get finished. I have not finished Red Dead Redemption 2 yet, actually. I'm just biding my time, doing side missions and finding out all that there's to find out in this game. I just did a couple of videos, for example, about the witch that is in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's just incredible. These little things are planted all over this map. It's a huge map. A map that I actually haven't discovered completely yet. But if you get into this game and you want to get through, and you're pulled into it because you discover things as you're riding to maybe in a mission, and then you get sidetracked, and then you go, what the hell is this? I saw one guy up into a tree. I haven't did a video on this guy yet. He's just up in a tree, hanging out there in a tree in the middle of nowhere, the north part of the map. Legend of Zelda. Yeah. So this might be something that I can go through as well. So these are some of the games that I've played over the last little while. God of War, Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. I don't know, 4, did I do 4? Let me go through the list. So God of War, Mass Effect 2, The Shadow of Tomb Raider, Resident Evil 7, a Plague Tale, Innocence. That was an amazing game. Slow paced, but just amazing. Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, 4. I call it 4, but Mass Effect Andromeda, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I've played pretty much all of the Assassin's Creed games. Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I love the Assassin's Creed series. Really do, man. They're just, again, 100-hour games. A lot of those games. Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain. Now, that was a brilliant game. And again, a game you need to spend a lot of time in to figure out the game mechanics, but wow. Division. The Division was another game. I actually enjoyed that. Division 1, Division 2, Just Cause, also played through those. I thought those were great. Just Cause 1, Just Cause 3, Just Cause 4. I think I thought that 4 was better than 3. A little better. I played those a while back. So Assassin's Creed Unity, played that one. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Yeah, on that one. So. The Division 2, Far Cry 5. I really enjoyed that one, actually. Far Cry 5, open world, mission based. Nice game. Ghost Recon Wildlands. Oh my God, that was a masterpiece. I thought I love that game. Love that. It's an older game, but if you haven't played it, pick it up for cheap. Cheap. You can spend 50 to 200 hours in that game, no problem whatsoever. This person here is talking about Tails Steven is saying the Hitman reboot is really good. You know, I haven't played. I've played a little bit of Hitman 1, didn't like it, backed out of the whole thing, never went into it. But yeah, that's another series of games that I want to get into. But again, there's only so many hours in the day, right? Far Cry New Dawn. That's another one. That's stellar. And I really liked. Sniper Elite 4. I thought that was another amazing game. Brilliant. Death Stranding. How many of you here have played Death Stranding? That is just exceptional. What the hell is that game anyway? I played through it and I was like, this is incredible. It's so slow at the beginning, though. Oh my gosh. It is so slow. But what a reward. What a reward. I can't wait. I can't wait until the next one. Jedi Fallen Order. I thought as well that was a brilliant game. This is a game that I didn't really like so much. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contacts 2. Didn't really like that game a whole lot. It was all right. Cyberpunk 2022. Yeah, I like that game. I'm gonna play. I think I might play through that again. I might start doing a series on that as well. I don't know, but I'm focusing on Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, so probably not. Need a pretty good system too, also to play Cyberpunk in the way it was intended to be played, and that's kind of like the way that I want to play games. And I've been thinking about getting like a 4000 series NVIDIA video card, but it's so expensive. They're so expensive. No way. No thanks. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. I thought that was a pretty good game. Played through that one. Did I mention Assassin's Creed Valhalla? I think I did. I played that one. Watch Dogs Legion. I thought that was good too. I played through that one. Titanfall, 2. Batman. As well as the Arkham Knight one. Yeah, some people loved that game, loved it, and I didn't really like it that much. So, did I already mention Assassin's Creed Origins? Some of these are DLCs. I won't go through those, and a few others that are on my list to finish, because I actually create a note on the games that I've played through. Yeah, sorry, Cyberpunk 2077. Well, they've released a patch. I think it's, 1.6 something now. I'm waiting for 1.7 to be released. But the majority of issues with that game, yes, they've been patched. So you can no problem play Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I played it, I think, was when 1.4 was released or 1.5 was released, and it was fine. I went through it, had no problems whatsoever playing through it, no glitches. Few games that I have on my agenda, what I want to play is I'm trying to get through Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. This I don't. Have you heard of this game called Man Eater? It's a shark where you just eat man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through that game, but it is on my list to. When I purchase a game, I put this into like a note, and then I check them off as I play them. Some of these games I probably will never play. BioShock 1, 2, and 3. I think I played through most of BioShock 1. I went back to it, tried to get into 2, but couldn't get into it. So I don't know if I'll play through those. Probably not. Wolfenstein, The New Order, I haven't actually played through that one. That's something that I probably need to. Dying Light, got into that, got out of it, didn't like it that much. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. I wanted to get through that one, but I tried it and I couldn't. I kind of lost interest in it. It's old school, like really, really old school. Now here's one that I could definitely, have a lot of content around would be The Hunter. Call of the Wild. It's where you're actually hunting animals, and it's hardcore though, so you could spend like literally 6 hours in the game to hunt one animal and you never see it. I don't like that. I mean, I'd rather hunt for animals in Red Dead Redemption 2. At least there's a chance of finding one or seeing one. That is super hardcore. If you're really a hunter, like a true hunter, then you probably would like that game. Battlefield 5, haven't played that one through yet. Just Cause 2, I've had issues starting that game. Oh, no, I didn't. No, that wasn't that game. Just Cause 2, I did get into that, but couldn't stay with it. Far Cry Primal. Now, here's another game that I really got into, but I couldn't stay with it. It's just a sin, right? You pay for a game and you get into it, but there's not enough that you paid for it to get through it, but you just don't have enough interest in it to stay in it. Sleeping Dogs, another game that I really want to play through, but I tried it and the fighting in that game. What is with the fighting in Sleeping Dogs? I mean, I think it's insane. It doesn't work for me. I found it so frustrating. I just got out of the game. GTA 5, I got into, backed away from it. It's really involved. I'm probably now going to wait for GTA 6. Do I have any tea here? Oh, speaking of tea. Are you guys aware, how many of you drink tea? This is going completely off topic. Maybe I should finish my train of thought here first. So, GTA 5, got into it, got out of it. Probably will wait for GTA 6. And I could be waiting a few years because all the glitches and stuff it could be like 2025, 2026, who knows before that's all fixed up. Crysis 3, got into it, almost finished it, never got through it. It's a game that I really want to try to get back into and play through. As I mentioned this before, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. I want to get through that, but my God, that's a 100, 200-hour game for sure. And there was a DLC in Assassin's Creed, which I found so frustrating. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, The Fate of Atlantis DLC. They made one boss in that DLC so difficult that I couldn't get through it, and I was literally hours and hours trying to get through this boss, couldn't get through the boss, and I gave up on it. So, anyway. So how many of you out there drink tea? I drink a lot of different flavors of tea. So I'm going to blow your mind right now when it comes to drinking tea. And maybe I shouldn't say this because you might never drink tea the same way ever again. Are you ready? So how do you drink tea? Do you drink tea, just grab a tea bag, throw it in your mug, pour some water in it? Because that's the way most people would drink their tea, right? Grab a bag, throw it in boiling water, and drink it back. And think to yourself, man, this has to be so healthy for me. All right. So when I found out about this, and I wasn't aware of it, But I noticed that a lot of tea bags came in this new, this new kind of more flavor added labels that are on the boxes of tea. I'm like going, new flavor. I'm like, what? So I did some research on it, and I found this. The majority of tea bags, the bags themselves that house the tea, are made from microplastics and nanoplastics. See this here? Okay, so Canadian researchers published a study in the American Chemical Society's Journal of Environmental Science and Technology, which found that steeping a single plastic tea bag, one, at a brewing temperature releases 11.6 billion minuscule particles known as microplastics and 3.1 million nanoplastics in every cup. Now, do you know where microplastics go and nanoplastics? They go into your blood-brain barrier in your brain, and your system can't deal with it because they're so small. Why in God's name are companies making tea bags that are steeped in hot, boiling water out of plastic? Can anyone tell me this? And we're talking like herbal teas. So what's... Exactly. So you know what I've done? I took all of the tea that was in my tea bags out of the tea bags. I literally cut them out. Just didn't want to throw away the tea. Cut them out. I put them into a container, and I have them now. I just throw the loose tea in my mug and then throw water in it, and then I fill it up, throw water in it, and then stir it around, leave it. It settles to the bottom, and I drink it. Now, when you get to the bottom, of course, you get some dregs down there, tea dregs, tea leaves, and all that stuff. However, it's better than drinking 11.6 billion minuscule particles of microplastics and nanoplastics. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm drinking tea for it to be beneficial to me. I'm not drinking tea to kill me. I don't understand. I mean, this isn't anywhere as far as I know. This is not on any kind of news. I've never seen this anywhere. I couldn't believe this. And this has been around for quite a while. So, and I drink a lot of tea. I drink 3 to 4 or 5 cups a day. I don't drink a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of tea, though. I usually drink black tea. I've gone through all the stuff that were in bags. I cut it out of bags. I've gone through all that stuff. So, and that's very small. The tea that's inside of tea bags it's really fine. So I went and now I'm buying loose tea, like literally loose tea, and it's very loose. It's pretty large. And what I do is I throw a tablespoon of loose tea in my mug. I don't steep it anyway. I just throw it hardcore into the mug, throw water in it, leave it, stir it again after another minute maybe. Let it settle for 4 minutes or so. Then I drink it. I don't care that there's dregs. I don't care that I could be eating a tea leaf, a little tiny tea leaf every now and then. I would rather do that than consume billions of minuscule particles of microplastics and nanoplastics. So anyway, I'll leave that with you. So if you're drinking tea, be careful, because apparently it's ultra toxic. I don't know. Companies are just trying to kill us, it would seem. So anything else, guys, before I leave? Oh, you drink loose tea in a tin. Nice, good. Yes, that's the way you should be drinking it. Convenience, right? Convenience. Got a bag, throw the bag in, bam, bam, And if you tell anyone this, for the most part, they'll say, oh, you're an alarmist. That can't be right. Don't worry about it, But there's microplastics. Remember, there's microplastics in a lot of things these days. But, and of course, now you have these compostable microplastic bags that can break down, and these bio microplastic bags, compost bags, and of course they go into landfills, and then the microplastics get into the ocean, get into the water, get into the animals, get into the fish, and it's going to be very difficult to completely get away from all of this stuff. But anyway, you can only do what you can do, right? And everyone, not all of us can have a big farm and grow our own chickens and cattle and vegetables and water, have your own water and all that kind of stuff and be completely off the grid. A lot of us won't do that, can't do that, you know. Yeah. If you just joined, let me put this back on the screen. If you just joined here and if you're drinking tea, regular tea, if you're drinking regular tea and you're just having tea bags, I don't care how expensive the brand is. It doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, some of the most expensive brands will have this like a triangular big bunch of tea inside this triangular bag, which is plastic. The bags are made from microplastics. So stop drinking this stuff. I would recommend anyway. Stop drinking tea from bags. Just get loose tea. Anyway, I'm going to, I hope you guys enjoyed this live show podcast. And I will see you, I'm hoping next week. I'll do it at the same time. I'll do it, or I'm hoping to do it at the same time because I'm on no real schedule. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for being a part of the community. And I appreciate all that. And this has been fun. This has been the first live show that I've done in probably a decade. So I hope you enjoyed it. And happy gaming. I will see you in, I guess, another week. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll do it sooner. I don't know. All right. See you later.